Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Knitterarium podcast. My name is Ruth and I am a knitwear designer, and this episode is coming to you from Westmeath in Ireland, where I live. Today is Sunday, March the 19th, and thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much. It means a lot that you keep coming back each episode to check out what I'm at. If you are a new to me viewer, welcome. I know there has been a few new subscribers, and I just want to say welcome, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. The admin stuff now. The places you can find me are on my website, knitterarium.com. You can also find me on Instagram as Knitterarium. And we have a Ravelry group for my designs, the podcast show notes, and any of our CALs. And you'll find the episode notes for this episode and all previous episodes in the Ravelry group. If you just search under the groups tab on Ravelry for Knitterarium, you will find us. But I will also put all the links down below so that they're easier for you to find. There is also an Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group. So if you have a question you want to ask, pop it in there and I will do my best to answer it, either in the thread itself or here on the podcast, whichever is the most appropriate place for it. You may have noticed that it is not the usual 2 weeks from our last podcast, and that was because the last episode had been about an hour long, and when I went to upload it, it took 2 full days with my internet speed to upload. And in order to make the process less frustrating and to save my sanity on it, I've decided to try and podcast weekly. Now, this may work out brilliant and I may get really into the flow of talking to you more, or else we'll just go back to 2 weeks, one or the other. But we'll give it a go and see. So hopefully the episodes will each be about between 30 and 40 minutes so that they don't take forever to upload. So because of that, I may not have every section every week, but that might just make it, I suppose, a little bit more interesting. The things I'm going to be talking to you today are the design corner, some happy feet on the shawl shelf. I have some CAL updates, and we're going to be meeting getting to know one of our prize donors for the CAL that's running at the moment in Knitterarium. And let me see, I also have not so much treasure trove, tiny bit. I have little chitty chit chat, and the podcast question is where we'll finish up. So I think we will grab our knitting and we'll get started with the design corner. The design corner is the part of the podcast where I speak to you about what I've been working on for the last week, if there's any new releases, if there's any sneak peeks, and anything like that. Now, 18, and I'm going to put the name up there so you can see it. 18 has come off the needles. It is in editing and testing stage now at the moment, and it will be ready for release, I'd say, in April. That's where that has been. Let me see what else I've been working on. To Darcy with Love. The socks that I'm currently designing at the moment, they are finished in editing and finishing in testing. I am just making a slight change in the colouring that is in the socks, and I can give you a little sneak peek on that. I don't want to show too much else. So you will remember that I was using Sherwood yarns. Let's see if I have the tag. Here we are. This is the tag. Sherwood yarns. It's a BFL sock yarn. It's 385 meters to the skein, and I was knitting the 2 Darcy with Love socks in the blue steel colourway. So I have decided to add in a contrasting colour to the heels and toes, and I've added in some Eden Cottage tempo in the apricot colourway. So this is it here. I don't want to show you too much of it. So this is just what I was wanting to add in. So I frogged them back and I'm reworking that in. And that's as far as I am on both socks. It's a really quick knit. I'm flying through it. I am knitting those on my Knit Pro Zings DPNs, and I'm keeping it in my Strand Designs bag. So that is currently what's on the needles. Tomorrow Neve will go on the needles. I think I showed you the yarn for that last week. That is the Life in the Long Grass. I think I'm not sure I showed these to you last week. These two will be I'll be casting those on tomorrow. It is the Life in the Long Grass. These are the tags there. In Silver Sky is the pale, and Mountain Path is the darker blue. So that's what's going onto the needles tomorrow. That will start. Let me see what else. I know I said last week that I would speak to you some more about some of the stories behind the Celtic Legends collection. I'm not going to speak about, I think the next one I'll talk to you about is Deirdre. I'm not going to speak to about that one this week because I have a few other things to get through, and I don't want to make this one too overly long, so we'll keep that for next week, and I'll chat to you about that then. Last week I did mention about the my marshmallow hot chocolate design that was published in Olin and in issue 8 of that online magazine. I'm going to put all those details in the show notes. There is a knit along being run at the moment in the Olin and Ravelry group, and it starts today. I will put in a picture here of the shawl itself, because the ladies still have the sample. So I'll just pop the picture in here. I am joining in that knit along, and once I'm finished podcasting today I will be casting it on, and I have caked up the yarn now. I am using this Studio Donegal, soft Donegal. There's the tag. And it is, let me see, this is 100% wool. Yeah, merino wool. This is the teal colourway, and then I'm just using a cream. So the main body shall be in the teal, and then the cream for the border. I will be knitting that on 5mm. 5mm on my higher interchangeables. That's what I'll be knitting that on, and I'll be casting that on just as soon as I'm finished with the podcast. I am keeping that in this is a Craft House Magic bag. I think this is one of the first bags I've gotten from Ellie. I love the woodland theme to it, and it's got a little hedgehog. It's right there. Hedgehogs are my favourite animal, so I love that. So that is yes, that's all I have in the design corner. So we'll move on into Happy Feet. Happy Feet is the part of the section, what is the section of the podcast where I speak to you about what socks I have on the needles. I was knitting on these a few minutes ago. You may have seen last week my St. Patrick's Day socks. Is them here? This is sock 2. I was here last week and I've only gotten this amount, this much knit, not much. Obviously they were not finished in time for St. Patrick's Day, but I'm going to wear these all here, so it doesn't really matter. That there is sock 2, and in my kiss me I'm Irish, I have sock 1. Last week I was debating about whether I had knit the leg long enough, and I was here, but I knit just another set of stripes, and I've just started the cream because I want to put in I'm going to put in a German short row heel in the same natural colour as the cuff, and I want to put it in the middle of a cream stripe, and that there is the little progress keeper that came with the set from Karina. So that is sock 2, and I am knitting these on my knit prosings as well. So they're just those. That is a self-striping yarn from Strand Designs. I think I have her card in here. It is a 75% superwash merino and a 25% nylon 4-ply. I've been itching those other fibres. So that is Karina's card. So just a small amount of progress on that. Once I finished itching that it came off the needles, I was really more concentrating on, I'm about to lose my stitches off the needle, oops. I was concentrating more on the 2 Darcy with Love socks, because I want to get those finished up, get them photographed, and get the pattern ready for release. So I was only knitting a small amount on those, and they are in the bag that came with the set from Strand Designs, and they are the only socks that I have on the needles at the moment, apart from the 2 Darcy with Love, but I don't count design work in my whips and things. So I'm quite happy with having just the 1 pair of socks at the moment on the needles. So I am, because I am, as you know, trying to get my whips down to 3: 1 garment, 1 shawl, and one garment, 1 shawl, and 1 pair of socks. So that is the one pair of socks. I haven't knit anything on my garment, and the bag is sitting out beside me, the project bag, and I'm really wanting to pick it up, but I have a couple of shawls that I want to get done and out of the way first, so that I'm just down to 1 shawl, because I seem to have a lot of shawls. There's a lot of cast-ons. So with that, we will move into On the Shawl Shelf. On the Shawl Shelf is where we take a look at any shawls I'm knitting. And last November, yes, I can't think of the dates. Last November, during the gift along, the Indie Designer gift along, I cast on the deck shawl by Talitha Kuomi, and once I finished the Leventree a few weeks back, This was the next shawl that I had to work on to get off my needles, and I have been working on this. Okay, so this here is where I was, and I've knit this. So as you can see, it's worked in short rows. You cast on all stitches to begin with, and then it's worked in short rows. So I have made quite a good bit of progress on it. This is where I was when I finished up working on it last November. When I picked it back up, I've made this since you saw it last, and I have two sections left to work on that. The colours I am using are Eden Cottage yarns. They're both the Oakworth. They are both the Oakworth. They are Oakworth 4 ply. This is the card here. This is Tide, and this is Twig. They're the two colours. I love how these are working up together. I can see this going to be a great everyday shawl. The colours are just going to go with everything, and I'm really enjoying how this is worked up. Talitha writes the best patterns. She has a knit along at the moment for a hat, and I've been trying. I have the pattern, I have the yarn, and I've been trying to get some whips out of the way to join in with it, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get joining in with the knit along. I just have to knit it in my own time. But as we established last week, that's just what I do. It's just, yeah. Remember last week I marched to my own beat? Well, that's what I'll be doing with that. That is all for on the Shawl Shelf. So I think we will move straight into our knit along news. "2017 is the year of you in Knitterarium, and we are celebrating that with a series of shawl knit-alongs. We are currently in our second knit-along, Believe in Your Dreams, and I wanted to introduce you to one of our very kind and generous prize donors for this shawl knit-along. To qualify for the shawl knit-along, you pick your favourite shawl for that particular shawl knit-along. It must be a Knitterarium shawl. Marshmallow hot chocolate does not count for the year of you knit-alongs. So any of the other shawl patterns will qualify. Any ones that are released after this will also qualify. Head along to the group, join in the chatter, and if you finish your shawl within the 2-month period for the knit-along, you can enter it for the prizes for that knit-along. And one of our very kind prize donors this knit-along, is Emma from Eldenwood Craft. Now I sent some questions along to Emma for her to answer so we could get to know her a little bit better. So I'm going to read those out to you, and then I'm going to show you the wonderful prize that she has sent us, and it's gorgeous. It's really lovely. So I asked Emma who she was and where we could find her. Now I will put all of these links, they'll flash up on the screen up here, but I will also put them into the show notes so that you can find Emma. Emma is from Eldenwood Craft, and she runs Eldenwood Craft in her spare time, and she is Eldenwood Craft everywhere, on Etsy, on Instagram. She said you'll find her on Instagram more often than not, too much probably, like us all really. She's also on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest and Ravelry as Eldenwood Craft, so you can find her everywhere. And she also has a podcast, Eldenwood Craft, and you should check her out. So, hi Emma. I asked Emma, how did she get started in making project bags? So Emma says she made some pencil cases for her daughter's teachers when she left junior school and really enjoyed the process of it. Around the same time, she became aware of Etsy and Instagram, and she thought she could make some little bits and pieces to sell at craft fairs and on Etsy. The craft fairs were never that successful for Emma though. However, people online seemed to like the project bags, and it took off from there really. She thinks that the fabulous knitting community on Instagram, she thanks, I'm sorry I can't read, I can't read my own writing. She thanks the fabulous knitting community on Instagram for giving her the impetus to push on with Eldenwood Craft. But if you already know Emma's bags, you will know how wonderful they are, and you won't need me to tell you how great they are, because they're wonderful. They're so well made. They're some of the best that I have seen and have come across. And I have a fair bag collection at this stage, I have to admit. So I've quite a few, and they are really some of the best ones that I've come across. I have asked Emma, has she been sewing long? And no, she hasn't. She was taught to sew as a child, apart from learning how to make an awful wrap skirt in the first year of senior school. I can understand that. I made some awful things too in school. But she really only started when her mother-in-law, who does sew, gave her daughter a sewing machine, and that was around 4 years ago. So, wow, I am impressed. Only 4 years ago. Emma, you were flying, so you are. I asked her if she had a favourite item to sew. Bags. And she wants to know, is that too obvious an answer? But I don't think so. If she had the skill, she'd love to sew her own clothes. I think, looking at your bags, I think you're definitely nearing that skill. Would you consider yourself a knitter or a sewer first, is what I asked Emma. This one I was just curious. I wanted to know. And Emma says, definitely a knitter. I asked Emma if she had any exciting plans for 2017 or any projects or fairs that she'd like to share with us. She said, you will not be surprised after my answer to an earlier question that there are no craft fairs on the horizon. And I would imagine that even now for knitting fairs that you would have to sew quite a huge amount, wouldn't you, for a fair? Although she has thought about trying for a stall at Unravel, which is in Farnham, near where she lives. So keep your eyes peeled, you never know. She has a couple of new bags up her sleeves, and she's playing around with those at the moment, and all will be revealed soon. So I would definitely be keeping an eye out on Emma's Instagram feed. I know that when she updates her shop, if you see it on her Instagram feed, you have to be quick. There is some stalking involved in order to get one of Emma's bags, because they go like lightning, so they do. So yeah, keep an eye on her Instagram feed, that's all I'm going to say. The last question I asked Emma was, as a prize donor for the Believe in Your Dreams, Cal, how important is it, do you think, to believe in your dreams? And Emma says, and I love Emma's answer for this, and thank you, Emma, for taking the time to answer this one in particular. She said it's so important for her. Her dreams keep her going. She's quite a sensible and practical person, so doesn't have any wild dreams that are unattainable. However, she does dream one day of being able to pack in the day job and run Eldenwood Craft as a full-time business. She has it all planned out in her head, so the moment the opportunity arises, she'll be able to grab it and go. Oh, and she said a few more holidays each year, and a lottery win would be a good thing too. And I think I loved that answer. Thank you so much, Emma. I think it's so important. I should say, dreams don't have to be pie in the sky or unattainable, but they, you know, you do need them. So shall we have a look at the prize that Emma sent for the knit along? And it came lovely, neatly packaged in this, and she sent this beautiful card, and I wanted to show it to you all. Look at this. I'm going to stick this up on my notice board beside where I work. I love all the birds and they're beautiful. It was just a little note Emma sent because she did pop something extra in it for me, and I will show that to you all in Treasure Trove. And it was completely unexpected, and it wasn't really necessary, but I did love it. So I did. But Emma did send for you this beautiful project bag. Look, this isn't it gorgeous? Look at these cats. And this is Emma's card here. Get that to focus. This is Emma's, and it has all her details on the back, so you'll be able to find her. And inside you'll find her little tag. And look at this lovely checkered fabric. It's beautiful. And this is a big, this will easily hold a shawl. So it will. I have a bag this size, and it is currently holding my Dying of the Light shawl. And this is the same size as it. Same size. And there's 3 skeins of yarn and a shawl in that one. So this is a large. That is the prize that Emma has sent for one of the winners of the Believe in Your Dreams knit along. So I'll be popping a picture of that into I will open up a finished object thread, and I will pop a picture of this project bag into there. Isn't it lovely? Oh, you're so lucky. So the shawl that I'm knitting for the Believe in Your Dreams Cal is the Dying of the Light shawl, and I am knitting this in a 3-colour version. I am using Eldenwood Craft, now I'm stuck on Emma's name, Eden Cottage Yarns yarn. This I'm using the Pendle 4-ply, and the colours I'm using are this one is Black Magic Rose, this is Copper Bucket, and the one currently on the needles at the moment is Dark Oak. So as you can see, there is slight variation between colour 1 and colour 2, and then for contrast and the flashes of light we have the Copper Bucket. So I was here last week, and I have managed to get through nearly two of the sections of what will be colour 2. This here is colour 2, so it is here in the Dark Oak. So I started off with the colour 1, and I'm hoping that that's focusing, and then the flash of the Copper Bucket, and then into colour 2. I love how these are. I love how these are working up together, and that's the little progress keeper that I was showing you last week from. I just want to turn around this week either. From Ellie from Craft House Magic, the little butterfly. And I am keeping that in my Eldenwood Craft bag. And this is the same size as the one that you'll be getting in the prize for this cal. So I'm really enjoying how this is. I am knitting this on 3mm, my 3mm, yeah, high as interchangeables. That's what I am knitting that one on. So that is that. Just tidy. I have to tidy up all this mess that's here. The area in front of me is a huge mess. You would not believe the mess that podcasting creates. That is the dying of the light. And I think that is all for the knit along. I did forget to mention in the design corner, this is on the mannequin today is Fola. Fola is one of the shawl patterns from the Era collection, and I have it on the mannequin today because I know there are two of the knitters in this cal who are knitting a version of Fola, and they are doing a lovely job on them. So we will move on into treasure trove. Treasure Trove is the part of the podcast where I share any new acquisitions or things that have been, but this week it's things that have been sent to me. When I was only expecting Emma to be sending the price for use. So when I opened up the package and I found this inside, and Emma, thank you so much. It is it's gorgeous and I love it, and it was completely unexpected. I was just so delighted that everybody was going to be able to get the opportunity of getting one of your bags. And look, she sent this beautiful little, it's one of her sock size project bags. And look at all the beautiful birds on it. It's just, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. And look at the lining inside. It's red polka dots. It's lovely. And there is Emma's badge. So thank you so much, Emma. It was beautiful, and it was very unexpected. Thank you so much. I love it. I love all your bags, but I really love this one. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. I do know my Mother's Day gift arrived as well. It came during the week, but I'm not allowed it until next Sunday. Mother's Day here in Ireland is next Sunday, and I'm not allowed it till then. I happened to see that Green Elephant Yarns had a Mother's Day gift box special, and I was telling the children, and they decided that they would all club together and get me that. I don't know what's in it. I know that they have it and they're keeping it hidden until next Sunday, so I have to wait till then. So I'll probably be able to share that with you next week. And I do know that Vicky from Eden Cottage Yarns is setting up a new website that should be ready this week. And I may have been dropping some Eden Cottage Yarns hints to people in the house here for my birthday, which is next month, early next month. So there may be that too. Shh. Shh. We won't tell them. Shh. They're just hints. Big elephant size hints, but hints. I've been dropping those. So that is all in Treasure Trove. And after last week, that's no harm. There was, just a little bit. And I didn't really purchase any of those. So I'm feeling very pleased with myself. We will move on into the Ask Me Anything thread. Or section, or thread, or whatever. We're going to move on into it now. Anyway. part of the podcast is about anything that you want to ask me. Just pop the question in the Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group, and I will do my best to answer it there or here on the podcast. And today's question comes from Marcia, who is Lefty Crafter on Ravelry. Marcia is in Arizona. I remember this one because I know Marcia as long as I know Kim, who asked the last question. And I do know where Marcia lives. I knew it was somewhere really, really hot. And it's Arizona. So Marcia's question, and she wants to know, and she hopes it's not too personal, what is the meaning or symbolism of the tattoos on my hands? Okay. If you ever ask a question that I just don't want to answer or that I consider too personal, I just won't answer it. So don't ever worry about that. I'm the type of person that I just won't answer it. That's it. You won't offend me or anything. I just won't answer it. But in this case, it's not too personal at all. I'll have to show them now. Okay. How do you show your hands on the podcast? So this is one. This is on my left hand. So this is, I'm trying to get it around to the light. This is a double spiral. This is on my hand for balance. And if you know, people who know me in real life will know, I am big on things being balanced. In everything and in anything, balance. Always having and maintaining a balance in everything. That's what that one is for, and it's there on my left hand to remind me to always have it. That is one. And the other one, this one is so much easier to show. The other one is this. Now the red is a little bit faded on this one because I have this one longer. This one here. Oh, there we go. I'm like a butterfly now. This one on my left hand was one of the last ones done, and I think it was done in the last year or so. Who knew showing your left hand would be so awkward? So this one, the red in it here, it does need touching up a little bit. And this is just a Celtic swirl and a Celtic symbol that I liked. You will find me on Ravelry. I never mention it because I always feel if I throw too many names out there at you, it's very confusing. If you want to find me personally on Ravelry, you will find me as Celtic Knits. And Celtic Knits is what I started out designing under. And I love anything Celtic. It's as a part of me, I suppose, as me saying I'm Irish. You know, it's just part of me, that's it. So I'm hugely influenced by Celtic things, but in my design work I found I wanted to branch out of not just things Celtic, and the Ladies of Legend collection that I'm currently designing and working on is probably for the moment one of the last Celtic things that I will be doing. So that's where the Celtic part I design under Knitterarium now. So that's what they are. They're really just, so as I said, this for balance, and then this one is just a Celtic one that I liked. So it is, and I got that one on. I have a few other tattoos, but we won't go into those ones just today. So Marcia, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, that one in particular. This one was a very specific reason, and as I said, balance was it. The other one, I like anything Celtic anyway, and that's why I had that one. There was a question on my Dying of the Light project page on Ravelry, and there'll be a link to my project page in the episode notes. Sorry, I'm just reading the question here too. It was from Meta, who is in Canada. She is Abbey Gardens on Ravelry. And she asked me if I would share my method of fastening the ends and how do I join colours for optimum tidiness. Now she was looking at this, so I thought I would just go through this in case somebody else wanted to know. Like most things in knitting, there's a million and one ways to do everything, and one way over another is neither right nor wrong. There is just what works with you. So I'm going to be showing you the back of Dying of the Light. So when I join in a new colour, if I was starting here, I would just let it hang and start knitting. And a row or two later, I would just pull the thread till the stitches tighten up to the same tension as everything else. That tends to be how I join up, especially for this, because the new colours are added in at the start of the row. So I just let it hang. I sometimes just might do kind of like an over knot just to hold it, but most of the time I will just start using it and I will let the tail hang. It doesn't really bother me. There are very few things in knitting that bother me. So I do just let it hang, and then I tighten it in a row or two later and I just carry on knitting. What I have done with this is I have started to, as you'll see here, weave in some of the ends. So you will see along here, I will just weave it in and out in a straight line along the back for maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches, it just depends. And I will weave each one in individually to try, and because you don't want, I hate having a bump on the front where I've woven them all in on the one line. So I will weave them all in individually so that they're there. The other thing I do is I won't cut these threads until I finish blocking them, until I finish blocking the shawl. I will block it, that allows them to stretch out. The other thing when I'm weaving them in is I tend to not pull it extremely tight, but just to straighten it out, that when I weave them in, that they weave in flat. And you'll be able to feel that yourself. That's the other thing that I do. I think that was all. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I answered Meta with? She just thought that, I'm not sure how she saw the ends of it on the project page, but yeah, I've just woven those in just to tidy them up out of my way, really. And I will do that sometimes with a colour thing. I will weave in the ends as I'm going along. The casting on thread, I have that one weaved in as well, actually, on this one. So I'm really ahead of myself on that one. So that was a question. It wasn't in the thread, but it was a question that was posed to me, and I thought I would just mention it just in case someone else was wondering. But as I say, there's no right and wrong way. There's just, I suppose there's hints and tips that you might pick up from other knitters. Generally, if you're happy with it, that's really all that matters. I think that's all in the questions. So yes, if you have a question, just pop along to the Ask Me Anything thread and pop it in there, and I will do my best to answer it. So I hope Marcia, that I have answered your question fully. Our next section is our chitty chit chat section. part of the podcast where I talk to you about what's happening with me in general. Anything I'm reading, watching, doing. Oh, it could be anything. Anything is possible in this section. Sorry, I'm just going to grab. This week in Ireland, it was St. Patrick's Day on Friday. As you'll have noticed today, I am drinking water because I have had, well, it's gone now today, but I had a headache on Thursday night, most of Friday, all day Friday and most of yesterday. So I'm upping my water intake. It's making me up my water intake, shall we say. It has been raining from Friday. It just rained all day St. Patrick's Day. And with a headache too, I was not in the mood to go and stand in the rain and video or look at the St. Patrick's Day parade. So I didn't do that. I knit. And that was far more enjoyable. Let me see what else. It has finally dried up today. It was hazy rain today. And it was that wet, driving hazy rain. But it has cleared up now and it's quite a bit sunny outside. I'm looking out the window just over here. I'm looking out into the fields, just in case you're wondering. Let me see what else have we been up to. Haven't really been at anything else. Nope. Nobody must be watching Legion. None of you must be watching Legion. I know I asked about it last week. Yeah, we watched the episode this week. No, still don't understand it. Still lost, and I'm still confused. And I put a podcast on when it came on then, because I just couldn't get with it. So I put a podcast on, and I didn't watch any more of it because I don't get it. We did watch the next episode of Emerald City. I'm really loving that. Dorothy has just, there was a bird just flying at the window. I thought he was going to hit it there. Distracted by the birds. More like away with the birds. But anyway, where was I? Yes, Emerald City. Stop getting distracted. Okay, Emerald City. The Scarecrow has been arrested. He can't remember. The Scarecrow character, he can't remember who he is or why he was sentenced to death, and Dorothy had rescued him. Scarecrow, he's my favourite. He's my favourite character in it at the moment. Let me see what else. Dorothy has finally met the wizard. I suspect that the wizard is Dorothy's mammy. Oh, not mammy, daddy. Oh my goodness. Oh. It's a good job that the older children aren't here. They're being mammy at me. Yeah, that's what I think. I have to wait till Tuesday to find out. I did watch the first episode of The Last Kingdom. That started again, and I really enjoyed that. That's all about the Vikings and things. I did watch that. The books. Thank you all so much. You all told me what books you were reading in last week's episode thread. Make sure you keep sharing what books you're reading. I might actually set up a book thread in Ravelry. What do you think? Let me know. Do you want a book thread where we can discuss the books we're reading in general rather than in each episode in each episode thread? So let me know that. Actually, yes, let me know. Book thread, do we want one? Do we not? Because there was some great recommendations. Let me see. I wrote them down. I made notes. Okay, so Marcia, who is Lefty Crafter and who had the question first. Marcia said that she is reading My Grandmother Said to Tell You She's Sorry, and that's by Frederick Backman. Now, I have not checked that book out. So I don't know what it's about, whether it's any good or whether it's not, but yeah, you might like to check it out. Marcia said that she likes to read a chapter a night, and I've been trying to do that. From Marcia said that, and it's working actually. Yeah, I'm reading more. Zoe also hopped in with. Zoe is some Paul 79. Am I pronouncing that right? I'm going to put it up here anyway. I've put all the names up there as they come up. Some Paul 79 on Ravelry, and she is reading an Agatha Christie book, The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side. Now I didn't realize the name of it, so I did check with her if it was a Miss Marple book, and it is, because I've read all the Poirot books. I read Poirot when I was about 12 or 13. I read Poirot. They were some of the first detective stories I read. Grown-up detective, shall we say, stories. I would have read Nancy Drew up until that, and some other ones. I'm a huge detective book fan. Huge. So I didn't recognise that. But funny enough, I never got into Miss Marple. So I had checked with Zoe whether that was a Miss Marple book, and it is. And again, like Marcia, she tries to read a chapter a day. So I'm thinking that if you are, like me and some other knitters, that you are struggling to get back into reading and trying to balance reading and knitting, perhaps that's the way to go. A chapter a day. I am still going in my Pride and Prejudice book. I have notes, but I can't tell you what those notes are for. They're for a different secret, very secret thing. But where I am, this is my bookmark. My daughter drew this for me. It's my bookmark. What she gave me. I think this is me. I think so. I like how slender I am. I wish I were that slender in real life. I think this episode is just, it's getting worse, isn't it? Let me see, where was I in this? Oh, the dreaded Mr. Collins is back because he's visiting Charlotte. And what is Mrs. Bennet doing apart from being dramatic? Mrs. Bennet is, she is lamenting at the fact that Mr. Bingley is not returning, and Jane has just gotten the letter from Caroline Bingley, and Elizabeth is trying to tell her what, you know what word I want to add in here? I'm not going to say it. Not a very nice person she's being. But anyway, Jane is not going to think that. Jane is going to think the best of her. We know how that works out. Let me see what else. Oh, and the whole of Merton now thinks that Mr. Darcy, hold on. And everybody was pleased to think how much they had always disliked Mr. Darcy before they had known anything of the matter. So, but everybody else, Mr. Darcy was condemned as the worst of men. That's the closing line of the chapter I've just finished. Yeah. We all know that he's not, don't we? Yes, because he's Mr. Darcy. So anyway, that's where I am in that, and the chapter a night is working for me, so it might work for you too. I've got an awfully itchy nose now. Okay, so that's where I'm with that. I meant to check where I was in the Cursed Child, but I forgot. So I'll do that next week. It's okay. Let's move on into the last section. I feel this is going to be a huge long episode again. Let's move on into the last episode. The words, they're failing me. The last podcast section, which is the podcast question to you. So, this part of the episode is, my nose is still itchy. I have a question that I like to ask you. I pop your answers into the episode thread. I'm trying to think of the words. The words are failing me now. I can't think of the words. The episode thread for the notes for this episode. Oh my gosh, that's not even a complicated sentence. When I ask the question, put your answer please into the Ravelry thread for this episode. Okay, last week's question was, if you could only knit one item, what would it be? And everybody said socks. Everybody said socks, so they did. I waver between socks and shawls. 1 minute I think, no, it's socks. It's definitely socks. That's the one thing I would knit. And then I see a shawl and I'm like, oh no, I want to knit that. So I'm between the two. Lynn, who is Tall Baby on Ravelry. Am I pronouncing that right? Lynn is also one of the hosts of the Two Tangled Skeins podcast. And how did I not know about your podcast before? What rock have I been living under? Hello, Lynn. I checked out your podcast and oh my god, you girls are so funny. I don't know what rock I've been under. Okay, you remember that marching to your own beat? Still at it. Yeah, just I'll eventually catch up, okay? I'll eventually get there. Lynn, anyway, she says that her socks make people happy. And I can't think of a better reason to knit them then. That's brilliant. If they make people that happy, knit all the socks. So this week's question is, you're allowed to go to your notions pouch, wherever you keep your notions. Mine's just in the pouch in front of me at the minute. So you're allowed to go to your notions pouch and you are allowed to take one item, just only one item. I have a DPN in my hand. One item from the pouch. What is it? That's the question. Pop along to the Ravelry thread and answer it. Shall I show you what mine is? I brought my pouch, my notions pouch. My overflowing. Look, oh. Notions pouch, it's actually sticking out, see? Notions pouch. This is from Emma of Eldenwood Craft. My needle gauge and gauge measuring, ruler, it's got it all on it. So this is the one thing that I would take out of mine. There's a lot of stuff. You can't even close the zip on mine. There's a lot of rubbish in it. But anyway, there is loads. We won't empty it today. There's lots of stuff. Look, see the children make me things and they're in there too. I have no idea what that is. I can't remember. I'll have to ask. One of my younger daughters made this for me. Anyway, that's in there too. But this is my one thing. So, what is your one thing? You're only allowed to take one thing out of it. What would it be? So, that does bring me to the end of this episode. And I'm really hoping it's not a long one. It probably is. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button. And be sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get notified of any new episodes or any uploads. That's in case I do vlogs. I have no idea what I'm going to do a vlog on yet, but in case I do. Anyway, subscribe, that way you'll be notified if I do. Don't forget to answer the podcast question, even after the hash I made of explaining it, and share your books. Let me know if you would like a dedicated book thread, or if you're quite happy to just answer them in the Ravelry thread, in that week's episode notes thread. You know what I mean? I'm not getting into that again. So, thank you very much for watching. I wish you a very knit-filled week until I podcast next week. So, happy knitting Bye!